So Seb, my first sort of question for you is, you already had quite a bit of WRC experience before 2001. Why did you decide to do it was called the Super 600 Championship then, but why did you decide to go down that route?
At this time, because I think it was the best solution to show at the world level what I'm able to do. I think I was doing some French championship, gravel and tarmac. I had a few experience on the world championship in Reiki or things like this, but I think this is the place where the manufacturer are watching a little bit what happens for the young drivers, and so I needed to get some experience of world championship, of gravel, of tarmac, of everything, and to show what I'm able to do. So it's for that we decided to choose this discipline.
Yeah. So were you confident going into those events?
Really, at the beginning, I didn't really know what to expect. I had just a few experience in World Championship, but this time it was difficult for me to go with only 2 passes of Reiki, because in France we were used to much more. So no, I was not really confident at the beginning, but then I saw quite quickly that I was on the pace, and I was a few times dominating the races, so then it gave me some extra confidence, and we could finish the championship in a good way.
Basically, Spain was the first round, and when I've looked through the stage times, you were really showing people how it was done. But then midway through, there was basically you lost 2 minutes. I'm guessing it was a puncture, and basically I don't know if you remember at the time, but were you feeling, oh God, I've just lost my chance to win this now, or do you remember much around that one?
I remember a little bit. I don't think I lost my motivation at this point, because I was really fast in Spain, and I was really dominating the stages. So even if I lost some time in the puncture, I tried even harder after to try to catch back the time, and it was a rally where I had a really good feeling, and I was pushing on the limits, and it's one of my best memories of Super 1600.
How did it feel to take that first win? Was there a relief there that we can do this now?
Yes, for sure, it was a relief, and because, like I said, I didn't know what to expect, and finally I saw that I was really competitive. So it was a great feeling. But at this time, my only target was to get in a real WRC one day. So I just tried to stay focused on what I have to do, and try to prepare the next round, and try to concentrate as much as possible, and do the best to be ready on the next time.
6 even in Super 16, I think it will be a good experience, and I hope some manufacturer will help me.
I hope with these performances I can find a manufacturer to support me, because it's so difficult. And now when you think Seb Loeb struggling to get the attention of manufacturers, obviously it doesn't make sense. But back then, you know, you were an emerging driver. Not many, well, in France people had heard of you, but outside it was difficult. What happened there? Because obviously Citroen you caught the attention of. What were you doing away from rallies to get people's attention?
Away of the rally is not much, but I was lucky at this time to have the support of Citroen, helping me to do the Super 1600 Championship, doing the French Championship, and but that, like I said, at this time it was just the beginning of the Junior Championship, and I think it was not enough to convince the manufacturer to give you an opportunity to drive a car. I think today there is more opportunity for WRC2 drivers to jump in a WRC. But at this time, what made the big difference for me is that I won the French Championship, I won the Junior Championship, and then Citroen gave me the opportunity to do San Remo with the WRC, and that made a big change, because until the San Remo I was trying to approach the manufacturers, and no one was really interested, or I asked, do you have an opportunity to do some tests or something? I didn't really receive any answer, And after the Sanremo, all these manufacturer came back to me and said, "Oh, we are interested now."
It changed from you knocking on the door to they were knocking on your door. How was that though? How did it come about, Sanremo? Do you remember the phone call? Do you remember the first time on Shakedown?
Yeah, how it started. I was speaking all the time with Guy Fréquelin and at this time, and the first idea was to give me a car in the French Championship, the WRC in the French Championship for a rally, with Bugalski doing the rally and me next to him in another car. So it was the plan to see a bit how I'm performing compared to Bugalski. And finally, it was the first year that Citroen was entering the World Championship, and they said, why doing a French Championship rally and why not doing Sanremo? And so Guy Fréquelin asked me, and would you be interested to be in the third car in the Sanremo? I said, for sure. And that's what I always say is I was lucky to have Guy as a team boss, because he gave me a lot of opportunities, driving in the French Championship, to win the French Championship, then to go in the Junior Championship, and then to access to the WRC. So it was a
That's amazing.
that was for me. If he was not here, I don't know if I would have reached the WRC.
We'll go to Finland now, and in Finland, you seem to have a fight on your hand with Francois Deval. Previously on other rallies, you were winning stages by big margins, but here it was a small handful of seconds. Was the competition tough there?
It seems. I remember Duval, because I think it's the guy I was the most afraid of in the Junior Championship, because at this time I think he didn't have the best car, especially at the beginning of the season. But then I knew that he's able sometimes to do some incredible drive, and like in Finland, where it's very fast and flowing, he was pushing on the limit. And I remember to have had some good fights with him. Even after, when we were both in WRC, we had some tough fights. So he was I think he is a very good driver, and he have some very good skills, some natural skills, and sometimes he's able to do some very impressive things.
Somehow you went to Corsica with a very good chance of winning the championship, and it was effectively your home event. Do you remember much feeling going on for Corsica? Were you nervous at that point?
This came after the Sanremo.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I think the Sanremo was the relief of the rest, because I knew it was more important for me to show what I showed in Sanremo than to finally to win the Junior Championship. But so I was, but okay, I had to achieve my season and my goal. So I came to Corsica. I think not with a lot of pressure. I just wanted to show that I'm still here and I'm able to fight. It was a rally that I knew from the past. It was a tarmac rally, which is always my surface. So no, I was confident in myself from what we showed in the beginning of the season, that we could do something nice.
Do you remember, were you trying to get a WRC drive on GB, or why you did GB in the Saxo? It was
at this time I was doing what Citroen wanted me to do.
Yeah.
And so I think Citroen was not doing GB with the official car.
Okay.
I don't know, but I think it was like that. And so my season was normally to do GB, so we did GB. I think I had again a fight with Duval there. If I'm right, he had some.
On GB, it was McShay.
Yeah.
I don't know whether we can catch Sébastien in the championship or not, but certainly we're out to try and prove a point that we can go faster than anybody here in the Super 1600.
Maxi had made very good time at the end of the rally, but we had made the difference at the beginning, so it was too late for him.
Maxi, yeah.
Yeah, I wanted to know, what are your memories of McShay? Because After the event, your interview that you gave, you said that this was the hardest fight I've ever had with a driver on a rally. I guess GB was quite new to you then.
Yeah, maybe. I did GB the year before, or in 2000, something like this, with a little Saxo.
Yep.
Okay, it was what, Marché. Yeah, I remember that we had also some good fights, and so I don't remember the details, but I think I was struggling, and he was very consistent, and I was struggling, sometimes faster, and sometimes I was losing a bit more time. So, but okay, every rally I could do, and in World Championship was a good experience for the future. So even if it was with a junior car, it was a good experience.
Yeah. So the season ended. You've had a WRC drive with really good result, and then obviously won the junior championship. Did you find basically going to the WRC at that point was the right move for you?
Yes, I think so.
Yeah.
And I think even what we did with Citroen because Citroen was just entering the championship for half of the season. I think at the end we did nine races, but I think it was a good way to arrive progressively for me. Citroen was coming progressively, and I could use this opportunity to not to be immediately in the front of the scene and have to show my pace on a full championship. I was just driving there, doing some good results in some rallies, doing the recce of the rest to try to prepare the next season. And so I think it was too early to do a full championship because, like in Australia, or I remember I was struggling a lot, and just to get this experience to prepare the 2003 championship was a good way to do it.
Yeah. So, sort of done talking about your experience in Super 1600 and the early years now. That big question I've been asking every former junior driver that went on to be a superstar of the WRC, let's say. What advice would you have for a junior driver in WRC right now, starting out in the R2 Rally 4 cars? What advice do you have for them?
It's difficult. I think the advice is not the same for everybody, but I think it's important to finish the rallies, to get the experience at the beginning. For sure, it's also important to show the pace you are able to have. But before trying to beat everything, you need to get a little experience of the rallies, and for that you need to finish the rallies. So just try to drive with the head, not being completely crazy and crash in the two first stages. Yes, you need to build your own experience by making some mileage, and I think that's the way to go.
Yeah. And overall, through 2001, apart from San Remo, what was your favourite memory from rallying that year?
Maybe Spain, because I was discovering the pace I could have, and I was just flying in the stages, and the feeling with the car was really good. So it was the beginning of a new championship, and so it was just exciting to see that I'm dominating the stages, and it was really nice.
Awesome. Right then. Thank you very much, Seb.
Thank you.